Hey, Derrick Harper, CEO of Point Boosters. Here today, looking at the backside of my phone going live, and I hope you guys can actually see me. But I wanted to dissect the credit report and to show those that have been reaching out to me saying, hey, Derrick, what can I do to establish credit? So keep in mind, I'm not going to discuss collections. I'm not going to discuss rebuilding credit with negative accounts, because that doesn't mean that you need to build credit. You might have to actually get negative accounts removed to accomplish what I'm going to discuss today. But we're going to automatically take a 20-year-old today and fully dissect what we're going to do by the time that they're 21 at the 1 year mark, and how their score should look at the 1 year mark just by following this 3-part plan. So if you can see, it skews the way that it's looking. I couldn't position my camera a better way, so this is the closest you could probably get to the board. But make sure that you keep in mind that, this is the breakdown. But make sure that you try to stay with me on here. And I apologize for my handwriting. It's kind of horrible. But let's get into how's the credit report scored. I know a lot of different credit repair companies out here. Some of them misinform their clients. You can read a credit ad or any kind of credit repair page, and there's a lot of bad information out here, so you really want to pay attention. Once again, excuse my handwriting. So, the average credit report based on FICO ranges from 300 to 850. So 850 meaning that's a perfect credit score. You don't have any key factors. Key factors mean what's actually dragging your score down. Well, negative key factors. So let me put my phone in do not disturb right now. So from a 300, which is the lowest score you can get, you want a perfect negative score is a 300. I actually saw one last week on the group that I'm in. Perfect positive score 850. So this leaves 550 points right here that you can either gain or lose in a credit file. Now, I've actually had somebody come to me and say, hey, my credit repair person that I was with, who I failed to name the company, refused to name the company, said that I lost 200 points because I kept running my credit. I'm the first to tell you that that's not going to happen. There's no possible way that it can happen. If anybody's telling you that, don't listen to the fear tactic. So, I'm going to use Derrick. Derrick's 20 years old right now. Today is August 3rd. August 3rd of 2017. I'm going to break down how Derrick's score is going to look. So, I go online today and I apply for 3 cards. I get a Capital One with a $1,000 limit. I get Chase with a $500 limit, and I get a City card with a $500 limit. Or I can just get all 3 Capital One cards with that limit, but that's not even what I really want to break down here. But let's say I got a $1,000 credit card. August of 2017, I have 2 $500 credit cards, and I'm using a $100 balance on each one of them. So therefore, that'll put me at about that'll put me at a $300 balance on overall $2,000 availability. So that puts me at about 15% credit usage, my utilization ratio on revolving accounts. So now I want to back up and just explain how each account can actually rub into different categories. So this is a pie chart that's generic for how your FICO score is actually scored, how your credit report is actually scored based on percentage. 35% of your score is your payment history. I did a video of the other 65%, but now I'm going to do the whole 100% of your credit report and how it's actually scored. These are approximate numbers, by the way. So if out of that year, I haven't missed any payment, I got that 35% right there because I'm at 100% payment history to where I didn't miss a payment. So each category I broke down of how many points you can actually gain or lose in any category and how it'll affect your score at the end. So keep in mind, this is my base score when I was 20 years old. 300 base. It's the lowest you can go. It'll probably say 0 or whatever if you haven't established any credit, but let's just start at the 300 base and let's build this credit report. So, I got my credit card and I had it for a year and I haven't missed one payment. 35% of my credit score, keep in mind 300 to 850 is 550 points right here. That's 192 points that I would get by not missing a payment over the whole year. So the blue category, 35%, let me add 192 points. Awesome. So now, that puts me at a 492 score. Made all my payments on time. Boom, I got the whole 192. Maxed out the 35% payment history because I haven't missed any payments. Now let's go into the fact that that account can actually touch every single one of those scoring categories. Now, that credit card, let's say linked. So 15% of your credit score is linked. I'm going to use that. Actually, green is the next category, debt and amounts owed. So keep in mind that, yeah, you want to show some utilization, but the most that you can gain or lose by maxing out a credit card or by having it, at 0 to 1%, I recommend between 5 and 10 to show usage, is 165 points. So let's say the most I can get is 165 points, and I'm using 15% of my credit. So I'm going to actually need a little calculator for this. The most I can get is 165, but you have to calculate 165 times 0.85 because I'm using 15% of my, of maxing my points out because I actually have 15% balance owed. So I get penalized at probably a 15% of that 165 points. Boom, that puts me at 140.2. Just gonna round it off and just say 140. So I gained 140 points right there at my 1 year mark by using 15% of my credit. So now the black category, linked, 12 years plus, average on a credit file, maxes you out. So it gives you the maximum points that you can have by building a 12-year plus credit file. Most say 15, but out of everybody I dealt with over a 12-year credit history, I just had my second person to graduate that had over an 840. She had an 844. Congratulations, by the way. So in that black category, which is 15% of your score, keep in mind the length of your credit, 15%, the most you can gain is 82.5%. Or 82.5 points, I'm sorry, on a credit file. So let's say out of that 82.5, if I divide, I'm at 1 year, so let's take about 10% of that instead of being 12. Take about 9%. So let me take that 82.5 and break that down. 82.5 times 0.88 or something like that. 72 points that I lose. So that'll give me about 10 points right there because I'm fairly new to credit. So I only get 10 points of that 82 points right there. So that automatically, with a 1 year credit history, I won't be able to jump into the 800 band because I'm losing 70 of them right there. So let me get about 10 of those points though. Give or take, different scoring models give you a little more points in that category. But let's just, keep it with the statistical classroom method of it. All right, so I got 10 points right there just from having that 1 year credit history on those cards. Now, types of credit. 10% of your score is your types of credit. You can get 55 points by what I like to say getting different kind of accounts out there. I mean, some people have student loans. Some people have installment loans and things like that. They're kind of way different. Installment loans get scored a lot different than credit cards and your credit file. But let's just say if I had an installment loan, a $1,000 loan, and I got about 20% balance on there. It's not going to hit my revolving ratios like the credit will, but it gives me 2 out of the 3 accounts or the 3 account types that I can keep open. Keep in mind, that'll put me at 4 accounts. The only thing I'll possibly missing is probably a mortgage account. A lot of times, if you get a $1,000 loan from a bank and get a car loan, they both, gets rated up point-wise as an installment loan. So it's really not too much of a difference right there. So that'll probably give me, let's say I got 66% of that potential 55 points because I'm missing an account type and I haven't completed the trifecta or, boosted the other thing. So that 55 points, I'm going to divide that times 0.333 equals. So, yeah, I lose 18 points. Let me do that again. 5.666. That's a lot there. So I get 36 to 37 points there since I took away one on that one. I added back here. I do have my phone turned around on this live broadcast, so I can't see anything that's being asked, and I'm sorry about that, but I'm trying to go ahead and get through to make sure this video is not going to be a 50-minute video. So the last category is new credit. So let's say most inquiries based on different scoring models don't really affect your score as bad once they over 6 months, to a year old. Well, I say over a year. But keep in mind, inquiries can actually stay on your credit for 2 years. If you have an inquiry on your credit over 2 years ago, make sure that you question that, because under the Fair Credit Reporting Act, it has to be removed because it can only stay as a matter of record for 2 years. So let's say I hadn't ran my credit for 13 months because I got the card a year ago. And I haven't ran my credit at all since then. So I'll probably get 9% of those 10% because that 10% of that score, because of course I have inquiries on there, but some scoring models actually give me the full 10%, being that I haven't been applying in the last 6 months. Some of them accounts the whole 2 years, being that the fact that their inquiries are on there. Keep in mind that you have about 20 different FICO scores or more. You have about 7 to 8, maybe 9 different versions of FICO on each bureau. So that's why I'm not breaking it down saying that this is a FICO 5 or a FICO 8. This is just the generic FICO scoring model. So if I get 9% of that 10%, which is 5.5 points from 55, score 49 points there. Now, this is the fun part. Who likes math? So I got a credit card. I got 3 credit cards that I all had open a year, and I'm only using 15% of my balances on there. This is what my score should look like at the end of it. So we start with a 300 base. We added 192 points because I hadn't missed a payment. Then we added 140 points from the debt owed. I got penalized a little bit because I owed a little bit. Then we got 10 points because my credit history isn't that long. And then I got 37 points, and then I got 49 points. So after a year, if I have that balance, that should put me at 728 credit score. Different versions. I've seen somebody that had about 15% usage that had a lot higher score than that. So keep in mind that 165 points can sway depending on how much balance you actually get reported on your credit. So take that. All I have to do is take that 15% down to about 1% or just say 2% usage on all the cards. I probably get about 165. I probably gain about 12, 13 of those points back. So keeping it below 5% would have actually had me at a 741 credit score. So if anybody wondering why my score was a 720 this month and all of a sudden it's a 690, first thing I always ask you, did you use your credit card and use a lot more than you normally did? And that can be the main determining factor of how your score is going to, get reported. So I hope this helps some people. I know it's a kind of mess here. You probably can't read it because of my handwriting. But if you have any questions after this live video, I try to answer as many as I can. But thank you guys for watching.